Alright guys, how we doing? So today we're going to be answering the questions that you asked for the 3K Q&A video. I'm only answering a handful of questions here, so if I don't answer yours, feel free to just ask me on my AskFM. It's on my Twitter, which will be linked in the description below. If you're not following me on Twitter already, what are you doing with your life? I post great shit on Twitter. Get on that. Get on that. Go to my Twitter. But yeah guys, let's get into this. What do I think of Rosa Luxemburg? There you go. That's what I think of Rosa Luxemburg. But okay, so what do I think of Rosa Luxemburg? I think she was honestly quite an amazing woman, because I'd like to see anyone point out any other person who both contributed to political theory, led an actual real life revolution, and also contributed to economic theory, because she had her theory of capital accumulation and markets, which I haven't read, but I'd definitely like to at some point. I just think being able to do all that in one lifetime it's pretty impressive, so like I've got to give that to her. As for her like actual theory and stuff, I'm going to be reading that pretty much after I finish what I'm reading now, which is rereading State and Revolution for a reading group. So I'm going to read her critiques of Lenin, and then I reckon after that I'll probably do a video going through what I thought of her critiques of Lenin. I'll also probably throw in some Kautsky as well, just get all the critiques of Lenin in one thing, you know. But yeah, no, I think as an actual person, she was amazing. And yeah, I mean, I'm very much looking forward to reading her theory. So, as for patriotism and stressorism, well, I think the former is okay in small doses, as long as you just remind people that it's absolutely ridiculous and not based in reality, and the latter is a cancer that needs to be purged. With both establishment politics and the alt-right falling apart under the weight of its own collective idiocy, do you think more people will turn to the actual left now? Well, that's a really good question. Let's go through quickly the blunders and fuck-ups that the alt-right have had recently. You've got Alex Jones, who is now literally part of the establishment, so, I mean, that kind of ruins his whole shtick. You've got Milo, who is pretty much just removed from all discourse now because he's basically a pedophile. You've got Richard Spencer, who, for the life of him, cannot hide his power level, so he's just going to push people away from his ideology, apart from those who are already too far gone to begin with. And then you've got Trump being Trump, and I think it's important to remember that though Trump is the president, in effect, not that many people genuinely like him. Like, you had about half of the population vote, half of that vote Trump, and then I reckon another half of that was only voting Trump because they liked Hillary less. So I think roughly like an eighth of the actual population in America genuinely like Trump. And when you think about that and realize the fact that his approval ratings are like super fucking low, I think the lowest anyone's ever gone into office or something. And the fact that unless he pulls some really impressive shit out of the bag, like radically just change the nature of capitalism somehow, then he's only going to continue to get less popular when people realize he can't actually do shit. So I think the alt-right as an ideology is right now starting to and will continue to be majorly discredited over the next few years. As for turning to the left, well, I like to be optimistic. I think recently we've had a big, like, the left online has had a big, like, increase in presence over the past year, especially, like, Lefty Poll has been growing, there are more leftist YouTubers, I'll talk about that in a second, but I think especially since Richard Spencer got punched, there's been this kind of more focus onto the left-wing politics in general online and in real life, and this is really good because I think the second we start actually arguing is when we start winning, because before just no one even knew who we were. It's like you had the rational skeptics and the social justice warriors, and that's all there was to the political discourse. But now I think it's turning to more the hard left and the reactionaries, right? So hopefully that's where it's going, because I think as soon as that happens, we're good. I think the left will actually show life again. But I mean, over the last year as well, though, I mean, we've just there are like really, really good leftist YouTubers that I'm only recently finding out about. I think, like, I actually made this this visual to kind of represent how I see the leftist YouTube community online. You've got, to the left, you've got, you know, the Lefty Poll memeing larpers, so me and Battopia, you know, the whole gang, you know, everybody. Then in the middle, you've got the more isolated guys who don't really talk to other people, do their own thing, and that's fine. And then on the right, you've got the social justice warrior cultural Marxists, but no, they're really, really cool guys. They often BTFO people like Sargon and whoever else. And a lot like Bad Mouse, H Bomber, and ContraPoints, they all make just phenomenal content with really high production value. So basically, I kind of want to get these three groups together, closer together, more connected. The only problem is I reckon the guys on the right hate us because they see us as brocialists, and we kind of are, and shit. But apart from that, also they have like loads more subs than anyone from Lefty Poll or in the isolated group. So you know, so right now I'm focusing on trying to reach out to those people in the middle. And then maybe from there we'll see how it goes. But I would really like, there to be more kind of communication between the leftist YouTubers. Because again, ContraPoints, for example, probably now one of my most favorite YouTubers, I'm not even gonna lie. Only found out about him like 2 weeks ago, right? And he's been going for like 9 months. So it's just, and like no one else from Lefty Poll knows him as well. So it's like, there's so much disconnect. I think that's going to be the key in the left growing a presence online, because one of the reasons the alt-right is so put together is because all the YouTubers are friends, they all do streams, they all do collabs, they all talk to each other when they're not making videos, you know? I think the left needs something like that. So hopefully, I mean, I don't think it might come through me, because again, everyone fucking hates me, but I'm going to try, because that's all I can do. And you've got the guys on the bottom, who are just like the fucking lol tanks and lol anarchism. They're just doing their thing. They're going to continue to do their thing. I think that's just the way that is. I mean, the Finnish Bolshevik is cool. Maybe him, but even still, I think you guys know what I mean. But anyways, this kind of turned into a bit of a rant. Do you think violent revolution is necessary? Well, that's an interesting question. I think so. Yes, I think definitely at some point in the world there is going to have to be violence. However, there's no real way to determine how it's going to play out. And I think Zizek brings up a good point with the American election, is that the ruling class have state apparatus which they use to kind of get people to vote a certain way, get people to think a certain way. It's kind of like manufactured consent by Chomsky. And Zizek says that in this last election, this state apparatus, for whatever reason, wasn't working due to various crises in capitalism and split between the bourgeoisie. So I think if it's been shown that there can be times when the state apparatus used to keep us in check doesn't work as well as it should, and then through that we can get ridiculous people like Trump in office, then maybe that shows some vague hope that maybe violent revolution might not be the only option. But I think if we're ever going to get to socialism, it's still extremely likely. But then again, I need to read some alternative theory for non-violent revolution. Like I just mentioned, I'm going to be reading Quodsky at some point, so maybe I have a better idea of like how violent revolution might be attained, but I'm reading State of Revolution at the moment, and based on what Lenin is saying, Kautsky is a fucking idiot, and also Kautsky supported the First World War, so I'm going to be going into any Kautsky I read extremely critical beforehand. Maybe that's not the best mindset to go into reading something new to get a different perspective, but I can't really help it, just because of what I know about him already. But anyways, yeah, for now I'm going to say violent revolution is necessary, but I will not be super dogmatic on that. So Bad Mouse wants to know if I'm part of any unions, and well, I'm a student and I'm not in full-time work, so I'm not really part of any unions. I mean, I'm part of the student union, if that counts, but no, I'm not really. I mean, I am part of an organisation, the IMT, if anyone didn't know. I'm mainly part of them because they're the only guys on my campus, but they are really fun. I say I would have joined them just as readily if they were Marxist-Leninists instead of being Trotskyists. But that's not to say that I just don't care about them, because actually I've really enjoyed my time so far with the IMT, and I reckon I'll continue to enjoy it in the future. So they're a really cool group of guys. They're who I do stuff with in real life, go to protests, and I've only been to one, but I will be to more, and do reading groups with and stuff. So yeah, what would you say is the biggest challenge facing the left, and/or what strategies can a somewhat divided left use to raise class consciousness / disrupt neoliberal hegemony? Okay, that's a pretty big question. I think I want to say the biggest challenge facing the left right now is probably identity politics. Just because it turns so many people away from the left, which is a shame. So that's what I would say. But I think what a divided left can do today would probably be something like just criticizing capitalism in every turn, and making sure to point out it's capitalism and not Trump's capitalism, or not Hillary's capitalism, or not whoever else's capitalism. It's capitalism, and that's what you can do. Because while we may disagree on what type of socialism we want, we may disagree on what type of words we can use, we can all agree that capitalism is shit. So that's, I think, the best thing that leftists can unite together to do. Critique capitalism. And then when people start asking for an alternative, that's when we start studying each other's throats. Alright guys, so that will do it for today. I hope you enjoyed the more kind of shorter, a higher quality Q&A response video as opposed to the longer drawn out ones. So we'll see how this video does. Yeah, again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks so much again for subscribing, guys. This channel's been doing great recently, and I'm just enjoying it. We're having fun, so yeah, let's continue to do that. if anyone wants, I'll sell this for the small price of $50.